held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are all enjoying your Thursday, having a wonderful, thriving Thursday. We got some stuff. We got some stories for y'all. We got some conversations and some stories for all y'all today. So hopefully you guys are all having a wonderful one today. You know that it's good if you're having a good day. How's that? It is important that you are having a grand old day. Okay. So as we know, there's some things that have happened yesterday afternoon that we are going to be recapping or recircling back around and talking about due to the shooting and death of young Dolph. We are going to be chopping it up about that here in a little bit. But we got quite an interesting morning for you. There's some interesting stuff that's going on right now, which sucks. It's a developing story that just popped off right before we started going live. I have been having some technical issues as of recently. So hopefully this feed will be nice to me today. I mean, fingers crossed. I really do hope that it's going to be nice to me today. But good morning to everybody who's starting to file in. I really do appreciate all y'all being on, chopping it up with me and everything. Okay. And by all means, do me that solid. Hit that like button down below. Please, most definitely make sure you hit that like button down below. Send those likes all the way up. I see a bunch of y'all starting to file in. I appreciate it. And of course, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. All right? We are working hard out here in these streets for you guys. So it'd be great to have you a part of the Pascal Show family. And, you know, like I said before, we are working towards our 50,000 subscriber mark. And we are getting very close. We're getting very, very close. We're a little over 1,200 subscribers away from 50,000 subscribers. So please do me that favor. Hit that subscribe button down below and join the family and support this channel. Okay? But anyway, before we go into our stories, because we definitely got to talk about the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict. Jury's still out. We're still waiting on the verdict, but we got to talk about that a little bit. And of course, we got to talk about the Ahmaud Arbery trial because, like I said, a lot of things have been developed that happened behind during the trial that we definitely need to talk about as well. But before we go into all of our stories, my brother David is in the house. What's up, man?
Not much. Good morning, though. I've been pretty busy lately, kind of behind on all my work this week, so just been trying to catch up with that. But as far as today's show goes, it's the Ahmaud story in particular, I've been wanting to talk a little bit about, specifically the jury, which we will get into. I haven't been following this case as closely as I'd like, but there's been some major issues with the jury that I do think people need to be aware of.
Yes. There's a lot of things that we need to make aware of, especially with that trial and this case. And yes, you are right. I just saw Chrome Dragon just say, dude, he's on the stand. Dude is on the stand right now. Most definitely he is on the stand right now as we speak, being cross-examined by the prosecution right now. Prosecutors are cross-examining Travis McMichael right now as we speak, which obviously is a very interesting one. You know what I'm saying? A very, very interesting one indeed. All right. So appreciate all y'all starting to file in. We got to talk about some stuff. There's a big story right now that's popping off that just broke literally right before we got started. We were having some technical snafus, some technical issues. Hopefully everything will roll smoothly on this show today. And if it doesn't, then I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to be figuring out another option out here to be able to do my streams from, because it's not my internet. It is the actual program itself that's acting a damn fool right now. And so hopefully everything will be running just fine right now. But we will find out more. We will find out if it stays together during this feed. I hope it does. Dag nabbit. Anyway,
I need to get a little more RAM for your computer. That might help.
man, it's not the RAM. This thing is suited and booted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This thing's a beast. So it's not the computer itself. You know what I mean? I upgraded this computer specifically so I can do things like this. I don't know what it is. But I've been going back and forth with StreamYard themselves saying, hey, what up, doe? I've done everything you asked me to do. I've done everything you told me to do, and it's still not working. So sub, especially when it's like yesterday afternoon show, we had about 2,000 people watching the show, and the whole thing just pooped out. You know what I'm saying? Like that DoorDash delivery woman, just pooped right on the toilet, right on the trash lid. You know what I mean? Right when the gun was going good, it just went like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was a little annoying. Long story short, but anyway, speaking of trash, we got to talk about this one story that's popping off right now. People are starting to talk about this, and this is why I say over and over and over again, keep your hands to your damn self. And gentlemen and men out there, we must always try to do our best to walk out of any situation like a gentleman. I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. Leave as a gentleman. That's it. Summer baby, I'm sorry about talking about the poop thing. I'm really sorry. My bad. You're having breakfast. My bad. Hopefully you're not eating burnt sausages right now. Okay, moving on.
No chocolate milk either.
No chocolate milk. Or anything with heavy cream. Okay, so here it is, guys. Not the Real Housewives. We're not talking about the Real Housewives. The thing underneath. This is I really do appreciate Daily Mail and their articles, but the one thing I hate more than anything in the world is all their pop-ups everywhere. It's just everywhere. You can't even escape it. So it says horrifying moment. Jealous 220-pound former New York Jets running back Zac Stacy punches and throws his girlfriend around like a rag doll in front of their 5-month-old son before going on the run. He went out on the lamb, y'all. So we got this story. It just happened, or it just threw out here, or it was just thrown out here. I'm sorry. It's like I'm still waking up or something like that. Still need this coffee, right? And I don't know if I'm going to show you guys the video itself because it's not a great video, and it shows DV, which I'm not an advocate for, but I will say this. He throws her literally like she's like a 3-pound weight. I'm not kidding. He throws her like she's nothing. It's insane. I'll probably show you stills because there are stills in here. But yeah, like I said, it's terrible. Okay. And of course, he gotta be an ex-football player. All right. And of course, this has got to be a situation. I'm sorry, but that are the breaks. And this is what is being shown in front of us. And it sucks. It really, really sucks. Hopefully my feed stays together. Okay. Hopefully the stream stays together. Anyway, says home surveillance footage. It's literally a security cam footage inside the house, inside the apartment, showing this altercation. Okay. Home surveillance footage shows Zac Stacy, 30, attacking the mother of his child in front of their 5-month-old child on Saturday. The victim is now filed for a restraining order against Stacy. She can be heard begging for Stacy to stop in the disturbing video. The incident began when the former football player visited his son at his ex's house, all right, his ex-BM or his BM's house at around 2 p.m. on Saturday. But once there, he flew into a jealous rage and attacked his ex. He punched her multiple times in the head before dragging her from the couch and throwing her into a TV, which then fell on her. I'm telling you, he just tosses her across the room like she's a sack of potatoes. It's insane, y'all. It's absolutely insane. So, man. So we'll go into a little bit, okay? So he's attacking the mother of his child in front of their the 5-month-old son at her Florida home on Saturday. This was posted on social media by the victim, and her name is Kristen Evans. Okay, she's obviously now filed restraining orders against Stacy. I can't talk today, my lord. Who, by the way, Stacy is a former 5th-round pick who played 8 games for the Jets in 2015. He also played for 2 years with the St. Louis Rams. All right. He last played in a now defunct Alliance of American Football in 2019 with the Memphis Express. Evans can be heard begging for Stacy to stop in the disturbing video. Evans claimed on social media Wednesday that Stacy is still on the loose in the Nashville area, and that officers in the town of Oakland, where she lives, took 4 days to issue a warrant. So after she got thrown all around like a rag doll, like a sack of potatoes, she tries to file, right? And it took Oakland police, or the town of the officers in the town of Oakland, took them 4 days to issue a warrant. So he was already on the run. As soon as he did what he did, because he's not only just throwing her across the room, he's punching her, he's doing all kinds of crazy stuff, right? So much that the baby is crying in the background. I'm not kidding. The baby is crying. Baby knows something's wrong. Because mom is getting thrown around and getting beaten up like a punching bag. So the Oakland police officers that came to my house didn't seem to think that this was a bad enough incident to make an immediate arrest or to file an immediate warrant. It took 4 days of me calling people and an Orange County officer speaking on my behalf, she wrote. So she literally went all the way out of her way to conversate with them for 4 days. And see, this is the thing. Why would Oakland PD not think that this was a big deal? If they saw the footage, right? If they saw this footage, which is underneath here, I don't know if I should show it. But, well, you see it right here. It's like highlights, if you will. All right, I'm just going to show these highlights. But look, he grabs her and throws her like she ain't nothing. You see it right there? That's enough. There was much more to this than just what you see right here. There's much more to this. Okay? So, he goes and is attacking her, right? He's putting his hands on her. He's putting his paws on her. There's surveillance footage of what happened. She goes to Oakland PD to say, hey, my ex-boyfriend, the father of my child, is going bat-ish crazy on me. Here's the footage. And Oakland PD, as she says here, didn't seem to think that it was a bad enough incident to make it an immediate arrest or to file for an immediate warrant. So all that stuff went down. They see what he did to her. They see the footage. I'm assuming they see the footage. And they say, it's not that big of a deal. We'll get to it. 4 days later, while this guy is out on the lam, like out on the run, because for a fact that dude done messed up. He done mucked up. He knows he mucked up. That gives him enough time to take off and go wherever. And police just drag their feet to issue a warrant. or try to immediately arrest him. See, this is the problem that happens out here in these streets here, y'all. Because police seem to be, and I'm not trying to throw police under the bus, okay? But we see time and time again, certain departments, okay, certain city law enforcement officials, let's just say, seem to drag their feet on situations that are very well huge red flags. Because here's the thing. What if 4 days later, or within those 4 days, Stacy, who is still enraged, maybe goes back and he actually commits a homicide? Straight up. What if you're dragging your feet like this, and if she shows this footage to her local law enforcement, they should be taking this seriously. That is a full-on assault.
Unfortunately, from what I can tell, this is a problem we frequently have with police in a lot of these locations. There's just a story last month, in fact, where a woman had a restraining order against, I believe, her boyfriend or husband for beating her, and he came back, and the police decided not to respond because of the restraining order, even though he was violating the law. And I mean, we've seen a lot of this lately with like Brian Laundrie, Summer Wells, Huber. All of these have histories of violence against their loved ones, and those signs were already there that this violence is going to continue on. And this is kind of the same case. I do hope she gets a restraining order. However, I don't know that it will necessarily help. She needs to find probably a place to go to where she's more safe than what she is now. I mean, even if she gets that restraining order and it seems like the police are unwilling to help her in the first place, despite the recording of a felony crime of that degree of assault, the cops don't seem to care, I guess. I mean, they are actively ignoring her complaints despite this video of a brutal attack. So this is yet another problem of recent cases where the police are aware of an incident of domestic violence and they choose to allow it to continue instead of making any action to try to fix the issue. Like I said, we've seen this several times recently with all these cases of missing people and the like, where cops just aren't doing their job in a lot of these locations. Because if they acted the first time when they knew that something was wrong, they could have prevented this. But ultimately, of course, the responsibility falls under Zac Stacy, because he's the one who made the attack, and he should be held liable for it. That's a very brutal attack. I don't think he should be allowed near his children anymore with that kind of behavior. Obviously, that's up to Child Protection Services, not me, but seems excessively dangerous. The degree of violence and strength he was willing to use on her suggests he did just want to hurt her. I mean, obviously, you can tell from the video how much smaller she is. She has no ability to defend herself against them. So he's just venting his frustration on her. He's not actually, I don't know what he thought he was doing. He's just damaging his family because of whatever made him angry that time. So I do think while the restraining order is something that needs to be happening, I do think the police need to take a much more serious look at this case, especially with all the murders that have been happening lately that started with domestic violence recorded by the police that they chose not to act on. And this very well could be the same situation. And again, to go back to those cases of like Summer Wells, Huber, and the other one, they all basically had this history of where those charges are being dropped. So they have multiple domestic violence cases that are convictions, but at the same time, their spouse or significant other often drops these cases. I mean, if you look at some of these court documents, you might see that two complaints were registered and followed through, but often there'd be like 6 or 7 more that were withdrawn by the person abused. And often this leads to more abuse, or in some of these cases, as we've seen, it can lead to death. And I think the police, I mean, obviously, like I said, this is Zac Stacy's fault, but I do think the police need to take this far more seriously than what they are doing, because it's their job. I mean, I mentioned before, they don't have a legal obligation, but it's still their job to try and show up and help people, even if they refuse to do so. And that's what they're doing in this case, unfortunately.
Yeah. You were dropping facts on that all day long. But what I think what is so frustrating to me is that I'm just going to show this to you guys one last time, just from the top, real quick. I mean, I'm not showing the whole video. This is just bang, right? Clearly, this language of violence has been integrated. I can't even say the word. Has been brought into the relationship a long ass time ago. Here's the other reason why I say this, because this is not the only angle, y'all. Let me show you. There's another angle. These are just stills from another angle. You think that she put surveillance cameras inside of her home just in case somebody wants to go rob her studio? It looks like a 1-bedroom apartment type deal. You really think? Or maybe it's a house. I don't know. It doesn't look like a house. It looks like more like a smaller home house or an apartment, right? You really think? Say again, what? Go ahead.
I was going to say it does look like a studio apartment to me.
Right? Doesn't it look like a studio apartment? Just the way it's laid out, right? Or like a 1-bedroom apartment, right? So here's the thing. You don't think that these cameras pointing in were put for a reason? You don't think that he was she put those up so just in case he does something like this again? Because like I said, this is not the first time. This ain't her first rodeo dealing with Zac Stacy losing his damn mind. Now, here's the thing. They're exes. They're not together. So if she wants to be with another guy and all that, I mean, that's clear as day. If she wants to be with somebody, cool. If he wants to be with somebody, cool. There's no reason for you to show up and try to throw this woman around like a rag doll because you're upset that she is texting some new guy. Let's just say allegedly. He goes into a jealous rage. Clearly, something had happened, right? Maybe she went out on a date. Whatever it was, triggered the hell out of this dude. But here it is. There's angles, y'all. There's not just one angle. There's angles up in this piece. Okay? Full on, just so you see a little bit bigger of a still of this thing. He punches her in the face as he lunges at her, punches her in the face. She falls onto the couch. That's when he picks her up, throws her up against the TV. The TV falls on her face, right? He turns around to see if she's going to get back up. She doesn't get back up, so he goes after her again and starts hitting her while she's down on the ground. Dead ass. I'm just giving you guys the bullets of what actually happens in the video, because I can't show you the whole video, right? But she has those cameras inside the house for a reason. Clearly. You know? And maybe David said that earlier as well. So we agree. You know what I mean? We agree on that. But let me show you guys what she says here. So blah, blah, blah. Okay, he punched me several times in the head. I begged him to stop because the baby was on the couch just a few feet away from where he punched me. She wrote in a restraining order application obtained by TMZ. Then she added, he picked me up and threw me into the TV. Then the TV began to fall. He turned around to make sure I wasn't getting up. As I lay on the floor, he began to yell at me, telling me I'm destructive. He then picked me up off the floor and off my feet and body slammed me into our son's bouncy seat. I fear for my life and my children's lives. I'm sorry. Evans wrote in an application. It's not clear whether a judge has approved the order. The victim says that after the attack, Stacy said, "I love you" to the baby boy and left before she called 911. Evans took herself to the hospital where she was treated for a possible head wound and bruising. She has expressed her outrage at Florida police on social media. Florida police justice system has been failing me, she wrote. I have filed police reports previously, and the state attorney hasn't picked them up. I have filed police reports previously, and the state attorney hasn't picked them up. Okay. Other women fall victim to this every day. Please call attention to the Florida state attorney. So she has been attacked plenty of times, I'm sure. Maybe she has filed other reports about Stacy, right? About Zac Stacy, and nothing has happened, right?
And unfortunately, this does seem to be a problem.
One second. This is the last piece I wanted to say. She says here in a tweet or in a statement, she says, no one should have to go through what I went through and then have to fight for the law to protect them. It took 4 days to issue a warrant with video evidence. I just want to make that abundantly clear before David says his piece. Abundantly clear. She showed up with video evidence, with proof that he put his paws on her in a vicious manner in front of their 5-month-old baby with video evidence. This is why I heard people saying it in the conversation, in the chat. I heard it from David as well. This is the reason why we hear the Gabby Petito cases, and all the other stories that go on, where literally red flags are flown right in front of law enforcement's face, and they just turn a blind eye and they keep it moving. They just go on, go on down your road. It's all good. It's all good. Oh, it's just a little scuffle. No big deal. Oh, you got a black eye, little lady, from this dude who just put his paws on you. It's okay. That'll heal. It doesn't look like it's going to scar. It's going to be okay. These red flags happen all the time. And yet we have law enforcement. And I'm not just saying Florida law enforcement. I'm just saying law enforcement in general that have a tendency to turn a blind eye to situations like this, to domestic violent incidents like this. This woman, if she didn't stay as diligent as she was, as persistent as she was, that dude could have come back a few days later and kill her. There could have been a homicide on the police force hands. And then they would have been sitting there going, shaking my head, damn, if only we listened to this girl when she came in with evidence. David.
Yeah. Basically, this isn't a direct reflection of this case, but this is a trend that we've been seeing since about early 2020. Unfortunately, early in 2020, domestic violence rates increased by about, I think it was 30 to 40%. And they increased another about 30 to 40% at the beginning of this year. So what that means is we're pretty close to twice as many domestic violence incidences as we've gotten in the past years. The difference is less of these seem to be being taken to court and charged. So despite the doubling of the amount of domestic violence reported, it seems like less people overall are actually being supported in these domestic violence cases by the law or the police. And this is a problem that's been affecting a lot of people, and it's very possible that is affected here as well. I mean, you can just look at how a lot of people are having trouble with this. Drug overdoses went from 20,000 on some drugs to over 100,000. And these are the two main things we're seeing that happens with the people that are being partially isolated or fully isolated during these incidences of increased drug use and increased domestic violence. I don't know that drug use has anything to do with this. I'm just bringing that up because it's one of the two things that have been remarked upon over this period of time. So to me, it seems like the cases are becoming more frequent. Cases of domestic abuse are becoming more frequent, more often including drug use. But there does not seem to be an increased response from police. We were getting pretty much the same response as before, if not a little less, in terms of them responding to domestic violence cases. Like I said, these numbers are skyrocketing right now. It's expected to continue through 2022. And unfortunately, we're already at twice as many domestic violence incidences. And obviously, this is increasing at a faster rate than our population is increasing, meaning more and more people are meaning a larger percentage of people in the country are open to violence against their domestic partners. I don't know if there's a way to fix this right now, but it is a problem, and the police need to be taking it a little more seriously, because there have been lots of cases of murder, suicide, and ODing pretty much since this started, of people, especially in studio apartments, these places where you don't have a lot of clearance for yourself. But basically, unfortunately, this is part of a trend that's going on, and the police not responding is a big part of that trend. And I don't see a way to fix this right now, as far as I can consider anyway.
I mean, what sucks is that what can fix these situations is if they actually give a damn. If law enforcement actually listens to the women or to the men that are victims of domestic violence, especially when there is hard evidence in front of them. When that victim comes in and shows them, lays that video and that proof, that evidence right on at their feet, and says, here it is. This person has been abusing me, or this person has been putting their hands on me, right? There should be, without a shadow of a doubt, being like, okay, guys, it's time to go. Let's issue a warrant for his arrest immediately. It shouldn't even be like, well, if he might have had a bad day. Well, you are, cheating on him and sleeping around, or y'all are broken up, and it just might be a jealous rage. Like, he's just jealous. He's just jealous. It'll be fine. No. As soon as you put it right out there and you show proof positive, without a shadow of a doubt, that this person is putting their hands on you in a violent manner, that's what police are supposed to be here for. To protect and serve, period. That's what they're here for. To protect and serve. Not not turn a blind eye and ignore. That's not what it's supposed to be. So when you have a young woman, doesn't matter, the race situation could be flipped around and all that. Actually, in fact, I will say this, racially speaking, I am very surprised that they turned a blind eye to this white woman. I will say that. I am actually very surprised. I figured that they would have been suited and booted real quick. Let's get this man. I'm very surprised about that. Unless you're dealing with some very interesting people in the law enforcement that have a problem with the fact that this is an interracial relationship, and they're going, she got what she deserved, y'all. Can't mess with those black men. They're just violent. You know what I'm saying? I'll say it out loud. It was in my head. I was thinking about it, and I was like, should I say this? Now I'm going to say it. So, of course, in my mind, I'm going, okay, that's surprising. This I feel like this would have been like picking up a ground ball. Literally, easy. Throw this dude in prison. But they don't. Surprising. Throw this black man in jail. How dare he touch our white women? But they don't on this one. Why? Interesting, right? Interesting. And and here it is. Like, I'm not one to sit here like, hey, I'm keep his 100. I don't care who you're with. Love who you want to love. Free love for everyone. Okay. I'm an advocate for all of that. But at the same time, I'm surprised with Florida PD, Florida law enforcement, just turning a blind eye to this situation. I feel like this is a ground ball of like, hey, another opportunity to rough up and lock up a black man who honestly deserves it. When you have footage like this being shown, and that person is not getting thrown in jail? He's caught red-handed. Like, it's that whole thing of like, I've said it before, like, I feel like it's a scene from a movie, like from like a comedy or something where, you know, I've been watching Dexter lately. I don't know if y'all been watching the new season of Dexter, but like, I keep thinking, like, imagine if it was like Zac Stacy standing over a dead body. He's covered in blood. He has the murder weapon in his hand. He is screaming to the heavens that he did it. Arrest me. The law enforcement and 5-0, whatever, are all pulling up. They start running towards him. You think he's about to get tackled and detained, and they run right past him into a donut shop. And he's like, but she's right. I did. You see what I'm saying? This is as if he's covered in blood, dead body standing right there. He screaming, I did it, on video, and law enforcement is gone, nah, we'll wait 4 days to make our decision. Yeah. Do you really want to? I don't really feel like putting out an arrest warrant today. I mean, I did so much work yesterday. That's kind of what the vibe is right now. Lord Estrada, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. She says, what is going on with all these toxic relationships? I feel like we're regressing instead of progressing in the area of love relationships. Why? So, I think that there's a thing right now that's been going on as of recently. In my personal opinion, I think that we've been locked up for way too long. And I think that a lot of people are feeling some type of way about where they are. I think that more than ever, mental health is a very, very serious thing right now. It's been a very serious thing, but it's coming out in the precipice. It's out in the forefront more than ever right now because we're dealing with so much solitude. And I think the solitude has really made people think about their lives, whether they're happy with it or they're not happy with it, right? They're becoming a little bit more, there's a little bit more introspection going on. Does that make sense? There's a little bit more time to think about themselves and what they're doing with their lives, if they like what they're doing with their lives or they don't like what they're doing with their lives, right? Or something like this where Zac Stacy, let me get this thing off the screen. Zac Stacy, for example, is probably not happy with the fact that he's not playing football anymore. He's not really playing football anymore. So I'm sure he's working some regular ass job. He probably thought he was going to be some huge football superstar, or he at least had dreams and aspirations of being that, getting some sort of sneaker deals, being on the box of Wheaties type stuff. And those things didn't happen. Then the pandemic hit and slapped us upside the head with a big, nasty, I don't know, a big sweaty ass slap, right? Called reality. Because a lot of us were going after the things that we wanted to have in our lives. Shoot, I was in a radio station. I wasn't doing this show here. I was in a studio. I was doing some stuff. But it all pushed us all back to the rudimentary stasis of a lot of our careers. Some people flourished, and some people's careers got destroyed, right? So I feel like a lot of people right now are taking out their frustrations and their mental health issues out on the people that are closest to them. Some of them are people that we love. Some of them are just coworkers, right? But mainly the people that really get the brunt of this anger and depression and frustration are the people that we love. It's our boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives. And then next thing you know, because that person is so overwrought with sadness and disappointment for their lack of success, they do something volatile. They put their hands on that person that they love. Instead of actually talking to somebody and finding help, they go out and they go off on somebody that they love, or they go and shoot someplace up. Anything of that sort. The moment of solitude that was instilled has really played a toll on a lot of us because we've been so busy. Yes, we are extremely self-centered creatures. We are. But because we are so busy being in the rat race, we forget about those things, those other things, like maybe there's some issues that you are dealing with on the inside that you've been throwing duct tape over and trying to heal it with duct tape rather than going after that issue, right? I just think that, like, and then, of course, now because we've been dealing with so much more solitude, that's causing a lot of us as self-centered individuals to actually go, oh, snap. I really need to deal with that conversation. I really do need to deal with my drug issue, or using alcohol as this vice, or I've put in a lot of focus on my career and now I'm stuck at home and I'm still doing the career, but now I'm seeing what the relationship I'm having with this person is like. And it just turns into a really, really deep, dark rabbit hole that a lot of people can't get out of. And next thing you know, because they hit rock bottom, they go after the people that they love. And they do something that maybe they've done before, or maybe it's something they never thought they'd ever do. So I think right now more than ever, and thank you so much for the $10 super chat, Laura, but I do think that more than ever, this is the reason why relationships are becoming more and more toxic. I just think some people just forget the fundamentals of happiness. At least as of recently, everything's coming to a head. If you notice, you see the thing with Astroworld with the selfishness. I'm gonna be real. That was 54,000 plus people that were selfish as hell, including all the people that were revolving around it that put together the whole festival. But the 54,000 people that were crushing each other, that was some really selfish ass ish. Why? A lot of people are here that are, or that were there, that were going, I want to have the best night of my life. Me. Instead of, hey, is everybody okay? I don't really need to get that close to Travis Scott's stage kind of thing. But because we've been so locked up, we automatically go, no, I need this time. This is my time. And of course, I don't blame some people, because you're spending $400 some odd to go to this concert, to this festival. So I get wanting to have a good time, but everybody became so introverted within their selfishness that they're not looking on the outside, making sure that the people around them are okay too. And that goes over, and you can click that same introverted selfishness on all the other people that are dealing with their mental health, the ones that are beating their wives or their loved ones. Instead of actually doing what you need to do, which is sit down and talk to somebody about it, or talk to that loved one, have that heart to heart, instead of inviting, or instead of instilling violence as a language into the relationship. The one thing I feel that more people need to learn to do now more than ever is communication, is conversation, is talking. You can listen to this show and many other shows all day long, but I feel that more and more people do not want to talk. They end up lashing out because of whatever selfish things that are going on through in their mind, and they keep it all to themselves. And instead of actually keeping that out there for everyone to understand, like, hey, I'm just not, I'm upset. Instead of doing that, they're throwing fists. They're throwing their baby mama across a room. This pandemic has done some really great things for some people, because some people actually took this as the time for self-reflection, for proper self-reflection. And some other people took this as a way to just drown in their sorrows even more. That's why I keep saying, I'll say it over and over again. Over and over and over again. Mental health right now is more important than ever before. We need to start taking care of ourselves. And we also need to start listening to each other. I think that's the one thing that we forgot. This is the right reason why relationships are becoming more and more toxic, even more. We saw the thing with DaBaby and Danny Lay, of all things. If there was communication there would have been, maybe that live would not have happened. Like I said, we are selfish ass creatures. We are really selfish, and we need to start being a little bit more. What's the opposite of selfish? Giving. Giving of our time, giving of our emotions and our thoughts. Actually, our thoughts. Because emotions is one thing, but if we actually talk about it and we speak it out, it changes, right? That's what needs to happen. Sorry for going on that little rant, but I do appreciate that question. But the key to a solid and prosperous relationship, and a way to get out of toxicity in a relationship, is to have a conversation. It's communication. That's it. And I feel like a lot of men, oh boy, David, I'm going there. I'm sorry. But I feel like a lot of men right now, especially those that feel like they have not accomplished what they wanted to accomplish in their lives, are feeling a little bit emasculated right now. This pandemic really did knock down some guys down a few pegs, if that makes any sense. And I think a lot of men right now are, not a lot, but I think some men are hurting right now. Some men their egos are destroyed. They're feeling, like I said, emasculated, right? They've had to go from going after their dreams to that dope ass ride, or being able to pay the bills on time, to having to take a few steps backwards and go back to that old job that they said that they would never go back to. And I could sit here and say the same thing about women too, but I'm seeing a lot of men lashing out violently towards the people that they love, instead of actually communicating and saying out loud, I'm having issues right now and I need to talk about it. Now, maybe this is a situation with Zac Stacy. If he would have just said something out loud, maybe he wouldn't have thrown his baby mama across a damn room in front of their 5-month-old baby. We don't know, and obviously I'm not an expert. It's not like I'm a certified or PhD in psychology or something like that. But I do know when things like this go down, there should have been a conversation. That person's literally screaming on the inside, and now that person's physically taking it out on somebody, and he shouldn't have. Anyway, I'm gonna stop. I'm off my soapbox. But yeah.
I agree with you on this. I mean, one thing we see with psychological assessments of these types of incidences, especially domestic violence, is that it's usually developed as a sense of control over the family, usually in response to feeling out of control in other issues. So I think you're spot on with this one, because drug use is a sense of control. You're allowed to control how you feel. Domestic violence is a sense of control because the family is coerced into doing what you say. So I agree with you. People have lost control over their lives. Now they're trying to reassert control over other people to kind of maintain that feeling.
Absolutely. I think that bang, beautifully said, David. It took me 17 minutes to say that. But and you said it in less than 30. But yes. But that's the thing. You know, I think more than ever, we need to start talking about conversations. And I think that no, Laura, hold up. No. Where is that? Where did it go? See, I see it over here, and then it's slow over here. Let me pull this up really quick. No. The narrative was always going to go there. You took it to an inevitable place. Okay, so you didn't take the narrative into a deep place. That deep place was already here. Welcome to the Pascal show, right? You know, we got deep purple everywhere. We go into these deep rabbit holes. So I appreciate you asking that question and bringing that up. But yes, as David was saying, it is very important, right, that we realize these things. Power, control, all those things are part of, it's all part of us. Insecurities are a part of control, if you really think about it, right? Because it's a fear of losing control. It's a fear of losing control with that person or that specific, whatever it might be, right? That vice or whatever. Is that fear of losing that control. So like with Zac Stacy, he's sitting there looking at this situation. She's moving on. Possibly. He went into a jealous rage. Jealous rage. Why would he be jealous? He's jealous of her home. You see what I'm saying? Clearly, it's something about a new dude or new girl. You never know. Or people trying to holler. And because of his control issues and he was, I mean, unless he was at working out at a gym, I don't think so. He was wearing, dude is straight up wearing collared polo shirt and black workout pants and red sneakers. Who's to say he's working at a gym or he's a personal trainer of some sort? You think he wants to be a personal trainer? He stopped playing football in 2019 before the panty hit. In the past 2 years, all he's been doing is, I'm sure, personal training or training maybe other football hopefuls, right? So he's probably feeling like ish. And there's no, and like, I'm not trying to make excuses for his actions. No, let them catch him and let them bury him. You know, let him get whatever is coming to him. You know what I mean? Let him get tried and let him get, punished within the full extent of the law. But you're probably mad as hell about whatever his achievements were supposed to be or what he didn't get in his life. And now he's lashing out on his girl. Just saying. Here it is. Long story short, you do not put your hands on a woman. Men, you don't put your hands on a woman. Never. All right? Unless they're coming after you with a knife or they're trying to shoot you with a gun. Protect yourself. Keep yourself out of harm's way. Get away from it. But that's it. That's it. You don't put your hands on a person. Someone said it a couple weeks ago. You keep your hands to your damn self, period. But still, it is crazy that it took them 4 days, 4 whole ass days to put out a warrant for this man's arrest. And now that they finally put it out, he's already gone. He's off in hiding. He is the black Brian Laundrie right now, except, she's still alive. Thankfully, she's still alive. 5-0 needs to start taking these domestic violence cases. They need to start taking these things a lot more seriously, period. That's it. Because next thing you know, you got another O.J. Simpson on your hands. And I'm not saying O.J. Simpson, I'm just saying because he's a football player. And he had a lot of rage issues too. Did he not? So, and there were a lot of domestic violence cases between him and Nicole Brown Simpson. Wow, I can't even say the last name now. Real talk. So Kelly B, yep, he in the wind. He gone. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, this man should not have done what he did. And I hope they catch him as quickly as they possibly can. So let's move on to the next story. We got to jump into the next story. Now, Kyle Rittenhouse. Oh, Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse. Okay. We've had this conversation before. We did a talk, speak on it, call in all that stuff on Tuesday, just the other day. And I'm not a big fan of talking about Kyle Rittenhouse because I know that the people who come in and call into the show always have their own specific opinions about all this. Right, everyone's entitled to their own opinions, right, about Kyle Rittenhouse, whether or not he is guilty or not. We went into great detail in conversation about it on Tuesday. We are still, to this day, waiting on a verdict. But there has been some craziness that has been happening on the outside of the courthouse steps. On the courthouse steps, protesters on both sides of the spectrum are going toe-to-toe outside. And here it is. There are no, what are those things called? I forgot what they're called. The gates that hold people. There are no barriers that were have been put up. Nothing. These are just people going in on each other, going crazy on each other, waiting for the verdict. And I think the reason why things are so volatile right now is because I believe that this man's gonna this is a man now. All right. This man is going to walk. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. But at the same time, because of the prosecution and how their arguments have been weak, in my personal opinion, he going to walk. So I think there's a reason why the streets are tense right now outside of the courthouse. David, what are your thoughts on that?
I mostly agree with you. I have been watching what the jury does, and I mean, those are just updates. There's not a camera in the jury room.
Right.
There's not allowed to be. But so far, I've been seeing a lot of lies from both sides of the news in this one. A lot of right
lies? You said
Yeah.
lies?
Yeah.
What lies, bruh?
Well, a lot of people on the right are saying that they're being held up by 2 individuals that are afraid to vote because of violent repercussions. There's no evidence of that. And then there's also people, like media on the left, is saying that it's only being held up by one person who refuses to vote. But what we do know is that there's no one back there to see what they're doing. And what we also know is that they haven't really begun too much of their deliberations yet. On Monday, I believe it was Monday and Tuesday, they mostly worked through the instructions, 36 set page of instructions, which they did not finish until Tuesday probably. And Tuesday afternoon, they requested to see some of the videos again, which took the courtroom about 2 to 3 hours to set it up so that they could watch the videos again. So basically, a lot of lies are coming out about what the jury has been talking about. They haven't really been talking, though. They've been waiting to watch these videos and to go through the instructions. It seems like their deliberations may have begun in earnest last night, but the trial or the jury convenes today. I believe it was either 17 minutes ago or an hour and 17 minutes ago. So this time they might actually be focusing on the deliberation of the case. Now that they've been able to see the video, they were also granted a secure laptop that has all the videos on it. So at this point, they should be able to start working towards their verdict. Most of the people saying that it's being held up by one or the other, left or right, just seems to be more propaganda than anything. From what I can tell, the jury's just hasn't even gotten that far into their deliberations because they had to work through the instruction packet and then they had to wait for the courts to set up the room for the video, at which point all news pools were pushed out of the room. So the news pools don't actually know necessarily what they're talking about. They just know that they were provided the video. So a lot of misinformation is coming out about the jury so far.
Oh.
But yeah, it's unfortunate. Both sides, in terms of media, are lying about what they're actually saying there. And you can see this on, you can actually watch the live videos because the jury does come out to talk to the judge pretty much anytime there's a major question.
Now, here's the thing, real quick. There have been conversations about some jurors being found or something like that. Is that true, or is that a real thing?
All right, so
Apparently, like some juror posted something on their IG, basically saying like hashtag jury duty, back in the office today kind of thing, hashtag jury duty, all that kind of stuff, exposing himself. It was a guy himself, saying that he was a juror, and then there have been other accusations of who some of the jurors are, where they're saying that people are threatening these jurors and saying that if you don't vote in the way that we want you to vote, we will expose your name and expose we will dox you literally on the internet. Are those things true, or is this all speculation? Is this all rumor?
As far as the juror identifying himself, that does seem to just be a rumor. So the allegations of people recording them actually comes from an Instagram video posted by Jacob Blake's brother or cousin, a close relative. I don't remember the exact relation though. And so on a video on Instagram, I believe it was, it might have been you. No, it was Instagram. He goes into it talking about like basically saying that they have people in there recording who the jurors are and that they're making a list and that the jurors have to make the right decision or they will come and talk to them basically. Though about 2 days later, he suggested that he was taken out of context, that he was not recording anyone or didn't have anyone recording. However, he said the direct opposite the day before. He specifically said they have people in the court recording who is in the jury. So that's where that story comes from. As far as the juror identifying himself, I believe that was just a false case of somebody trying to gain a little bit of celebrity from the actual trial that wasn't involved.
Chasing.
Yeah.
Sorry, in layman's terms, clout chasing, y'all. Street terms, clout chasing. All right. I'm just playing.
Yeah.
Okay. But with continue. I'm sorry. I do have a question for you, but it sounds like you have more to say. So please continue.
Yeah. So the last few details are basically the prosecution and defense were working on that packet together. It's done by all three, the prosecutor, defense, and judge. So they were all busy with that one. However, yesterday they started to both try to file their mischarge suit. Mistrial, I mean. So the defense was arguing for a mistrial with prejudice because of the accusation. And there seems to be evidence to at least suggest it's true that prosecution compressed the video before sending it. It has a whole different file name. It's not even in the same architecture that their own storage is in. So it's assumed that they changed it to get that format that they sent. So the defense is going for a mistrial with prejudice, which means that if the mistrial goes through, Rittenhouse will never be tried again. However, the prosecutor is going for a normal mistrial, which would allow him to charge Kyle Rittenhouse again. Partially, this is believed to be because he's made largely a weak case, and the only eyewitnesses at the location ended up working against him. So basically the lawyer, the judge is going through their mistrials now. It does not look like, I don't think we're going to get that mistrial with prejudice. That mistrial request came first, and so the second mistrial request he has to work through will be the one from the prosecutor to get a mistrial based on, I believe he said, a jury corruption. He hasn't given a strong reason. The lawyers have to give a full document to the judge. We don't get to see the document. At least I didn't find the document, but they did give one to the judge. And they're also present for anytime the jury comes out to speak with the judge. So they're directly involved with this. It's just that the news pools are pulled out or kicked out of the courtroom. The courtroom was emptied so that they could watch the video again. And
Right.
so that's kind of the situation we have right now. He's got to work through the mistrial with prejudice, which if it passes, Kyle will walk and never be tried again. And if he refuses that, he has to work through the normal mistrial from the prosecutor. And if he approves that one, there will be a new trial starting eventually, probably with, actually, I don't know if it'll happen this year, but it should happen soon enough. It's just that the year's almost over. Yeah. So the last thing, and I think you might have video of this, there was some clashes outside of the front of the courthouse because basically people are getting angry and violent at each other, not necessarily at the courthouse. Basically, a lot of low-level spats and disputes are coming out of these protests in front of the building. And it could escalate some more, though. I read this article from Kenosha itself where most residents are saying that the energy is totally different from last year, and they do not expect people to come to their town again. BLM, local BLM and people in the defense have asked no outsiders to come to protest because that they blame a lot of the violence that came to their city last time on outsiders. And that's the only statement we've gotten from BLM. However, there are people there that are not directly linked to BLM, at least officially, that are protesting on behalf of BLM. CNN and Fox have agents out there as well right now, and those are the main sources for news pools because they are two of the primary reporters allowed in there. Like I said, they're kicked out whenever the jury takes over the room, but however, the rest of the time they're there. So that's where we're getting a lot of this information. The judge has no obligation to tell what the jury is doing. His job is to keep the jury basically entertained and to keep them working. And that's what we're kind of seeing right now. So I think today is the first day we'll see full deliberations. I do think we might see a verdict by the end of tomorrow, but
I really think that, I mean, we could totally be wrong here, but my speculation is sorry, I'm emailing something to myself real quick. I think that there is, I got speculations. I think that we will find something. We will get a verdict as late as tomorrow. I think it could trail into Monday. But I think a lot of these jurors are probably going to be like, yo, let's wrap this up, man. Like, let's get a verdict now so that we can have our weekends and we can do our thing. Or it might be a thing where they go, hey, let's wait until Monday, because if we go and we put out the verdict on Friday, that is a whole weekend of riots. You heard it right here, guys. Think about it. They might go, let's hold out until Monday, because most people don't work on the weekends. So people are going to go and lose their damn minds if the verdict is not the one that the general public wants, right? Court of public opinion has already thought of what they, already have their own verdict in their mind. And, like I said, there's people out here thinking exactly how I think, thinking exactly how David thinks, because he and I do not think the same thing. I mean, we do now because we both agree that he's probably going to walk. But here's the thing. I don't want him to walk. I want him to be found guilty. Now, David, on the other hand, thinks opposite. He thinks he should be found innocent. And that's totally fine. He and I can see eye to eye, or not see eye to eye, agree to disagree, but still have a civil conversation. Unlike these people over here. Let's take a look at this.
2 people were arrested today outside of the Kenosha County Courthouse after this fight. Protesters continuing to gather on the steps. Cassidy Williams is live. And Cassidy, We've learned some schools are going virtual out of concern of what's happening right where you are.
Yeah, we've learned 5 nearby Kenosha Unified schools are going to stay virtual for the rest of the week out of an abundance of caution because of the growing crowds outside of this courthouse. Over the last couple of days, we've seen people on both sides getting in each other's face and screaming. And today around 3:45, things got physical. Punches thrown outside the Kenosha County Courthouse would end with 2 people on the ground in handcuffs. Kenosha police say a 20-year-old man was arrested for battery, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest. A 34-year-old woman was arrested for disorderly conduct.
The police came up, grabbed him, because of the disturbance, I guess, and took him away.
Jeff Ransbottom watched it all unfold and says people on both sides of the debate did not condone what happened.
It was more the group themselves who were upset that it even happened, so it wasn't like they were excited that the violence happened. They weren't. They were trying to make sure it didn't happen. So that was kind of nice.
As the community continues to wait for a verdict,
we just got to let them do their job.
Attorney Kimberly Motley is asking for people to be patient. She represents Gage Grosskreutz and the estate of Joseph Rosenbaum.
What's really important is that the public just wait. I mean, there's so much insidious behavior that's happening. My clients are being threatened. I'm being threatened. The judge is being threatened. It is ridiculous. Just let what's going to happen in court happen in court. Let these jurors make their own decisions.
So there you have it, y'all. We've only just begun. We've only begun, people. This is just the beginning. All right. They're still deliberating right now. They're still conversating with each other, going through the evidence and debating the hell out of each other. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are agreeing and there's a lot of people that are disagreeing. I'm sure that room is completely split, or it could just be one juror that's sitting there going, prove me otherwise. There could be one juror going, hey man, he innocent. Whole rest of them could be like, yo, he guilty. And they could be fighting over that too. You know what I'm saying? Haven't y'all seen 12 Angry Men? I mean, it's like that. They're all in a room just trying to duke it out and make a decision. Now, this could become a hung jury. It could very well be a hung jury. We do not know. All we know is that right now they are still deliberating, and people are angry. Of course, people have their own personal opinions about what's going on, whether or not this man is guilty or not. I saw some footage out here where there was some dude, obviously he was pro-innocent, right? Screaming at another protester who was pro-guilty, basically saying, get away from me, black man. Like literally saying that. This is turned into such a volatile conversation that I hate for Kenosha. Because this thing, if it comes out and the verdict, I feel like no matter what, I'm saying this right now, I feel like no matter what, if he's found guilty or if he's found innocent, that city's going to be on fire. No matter what, I think that there's going to be people angry as hell on both sides of the spectrum. It don't matter. It's going to be bad, y'all. But David, go ahead.
Yeah. So I know you're not going to agree with this part, but I've seen a lot of people, especially on the left, starting to recontextualize this now that the video is out. And you can see this on some law sites. Law and Crime is a popular one. Strategic Eyes and Debate Me also talked about this. But a lot of law sites are now starting to draw a comparison between Ahmaud Arbery and Kyle Rittenhouse. Because in a lot of ways, they have the same context where somebody saw somebody doing what they didn't like and thought that they were allowed to interact with them, commit violence because of that. And so this is one thing that the law sites have been talking about that I thought was particularly interesting, is that the verdicts are somewhat tied to each other because at least in the broader sense, if they're arguing if Kyle is guilty, then there's not technically no defense for Ahmaud Arbery. The only difference was Ahmaud Arbery didn't have a gun to defend himself and was unfortunately killed. So I do think the perspective of the trial is changing as more people see all of the evidence. And specifically, this is one thing that has struck me that I've started seeing a lot of law sites is just comparing like how similar these two incidences are and how it's being treated very differently by the social groups in the same area. So I thought that was an interesting aspect that I've started seeing a lot, especially when you start bringing up issues of problems with the jury, which issues of representation are present in both juries, as well as issues of individuals not taking it seriously. And at least the one in the Rittenhouse case got removed for his joke. I'll get into the Arbery one earlier, but there's jury problems there where they're not removing people they should. But to me, it does. These cases are very similar. And in both cases, I believe Arbery and Rittenhouse were correct in their right to defend themselves. It's just unfortunate that Arbery did not have a gun to defend himself.
Right. Yeah, I keep saying this and I'll say it again. I think this is something that is important for this whole trial is extremely important because here it is. And I'm going to say this piece and David, if you need to go and do your thing, go do your thing and come back. All right. I'll see you in a minute.
Right.
I'll see you in 1 minute. So the thing is I'll say this when it comes to this trial, this is incredibly, incredibly important. The reason why I say this is because this says something about vigilantism in this country. This says something about protests in general. Now, here it is. When it comes to people who want to be vigilantes, right? If he is found innocent, now people are going to say, oh, so that means I can run around and shoot him up. And I mean, yeah, I could go to court, but I'm going to be found innocent because I'll be, quote unquote, protecting myself, right? That'll be the argument, right? That people will have in their minds. This is what will be conveyed through this verdict, right? The other part is, which is very concerning to me, is that when they say, if they say that he's innocent, let's just say, if they find him innocent, what does this say to every single person that's out there demonstrating and protesting out in these streets? Everyone's going to be coming up locked and loaded. These people, instead of it being them coming out with sticks and stones or just pumping their fists, they're going to be throwing their guns and rifles in the air, wearing bulletproof vests, being full on head to toe tacticaled out, if you will. Real talk. This is a huge concern that I think that once this all comes down, once this all goes down, y'all, this is going to translate and mean something to the other side of the fence. Because as soon as they say hey, he's innocent, he didn't do no wrong, he was protecting himself, so on and so forth, you don't think that more Kyle Rittenhouses aren't going to be out here in these streets holding the AR-15s, brandishing weapons of all kinds, assault rifles and pistols that look cool, live in their own modern day Call of Duty, and then start popping off rounds saying, hey, it's okay because this ruling came in and Kyle Rittenhouse is free. Free Kyle. He free. You don't think that the opposite side, the side that he was on, right, that was protecting those businesses and whatnot, you don't think that those people are going to sit there and go, oh, wait, so he got it. He got away with it. So, yeah, I'm going to shoot. Let me run around with my AR-15 and my other assault rifles and all my other weapons because Kyle got free. So we good. So here's that side, right? That's that side of the fence. But what about the other side of the fence, y'all? Because as soon as you see, this is like the scene from Batman Begins. I'm not kidding you. When Commissioner Gordon says, hey, what's going to happen? As soon as a guy, as soon as you put on the police put on bulletproof vests, the criminals are with armor piercing bullets. Now we have a man dressed up as a bat You don't think that the criminals are going to be just as bad as well, so on and so forth? Now, I'm not trying to compare anyone as criminals. I'm just saying, when you have one side suited and booted, you don't think the other side's going to be suited and booted too? So once this verdict comes out, it opens a can of worms. If he is found innocent, I mean. This opens up a huge can of worms for the future of protesting in this country. Next thing you know, if he walks out innocent, it's going to turn into an even worse war zone than it has been. Now it will be a full-on war zone. If you are out here quietly, peacefully protesting, you're going to have every other person with a rifle, every other person with some weapons. Like I said, this is bigger than just getting Kyle off. This is much bigger than that. You are basically giving a thumbs up. If he's found innocent, they're giving a thumbs up to vigilantism. They're giving a thumbs up to people taking law into their own hands. And like I said, we are going to go back to Wild Wild West. Will Smith. Terrible song. But you know what I'm saying. So that's what I think about this. Go ahead, David.
I was gonna say I see it the other end. Basically, that
you say he gets found if he's found innocent. You're saying that this is going to say the opposite to people?
No, I mean, yeah, because
are you kidding me? Come on, baby. Come on, David. You got all these guys out here going free David, free Kyle, free Kyle, free Kyle. Because they're all sitting there going, hey, man, if you're trying to run into my, if you're trying to take my gun, all that stuff, I have every right to protect myself, so on and so forth. So many free Kyle people out here. You see all these people out here on the other side, too, that are already starting to get suited and booted, too. You don't think that this is not going to get even worse?
No, because like I was saying, seems like most people in Kenosha do actually support him. Most of the local people there came out in his defense, including BLM members. And like I said, they don't think there's going to be as much violence this time. The way I see it, however, is that if he is found guilty, this means you cannot defend yourself against someone who threatens to kill you and then attacks you. And that will set a dangerous precedent because, say, if someone is in a dangerous place that people don't like them being there, that justifies those person in attacking them and not allowing them to defend themselves. So, yeah, I see it as completely different. I do think that if he's found guilty because of arguments outside of the law, then it's going to be much worse.
We aren't zombies, though. We're not zombies. We're not sitting here like running around. It's not all these people going blah, blah, running after you. So if somebody's running towards you and you have a gun in your hand, you have every right to blast them.
They say they're going to kill you, yeah. And they start chasing you, and then they grab your gun, yeah.
Like I said,
this is perfectly legal. You would have been allowed to shoot them the moment they said they're going to kill you and started chasing you. You wouldn't have had to run, or actually, you wouldn't have had to run at all. You would be allowed to defend yourself in that instant because of the spoken threat and the physical violence that followed after. Especially if you consider just before Rosenbaum's partner Zeminski fired a gun. He was the first one to fire a gun. He fired it into the air and told people to go get him, and that's when Rosenbaum started chasing him. Rosenbaum had already promised to kill him or any of the people in his group if he caught one of them alone. So he goes out of his way to catch Kyle alone and starts chasing him. Kyle made an attempt to run, got caught, and got his rifle grabbed. And over about 0.4 seconds, he fired the 4 shots.
I'll say this. I just think that this is going to say something more than just, oh, this will just quell. No, I think it's going to augment. This is going to augment things even more. That's what I think. I think that people are going to say, oh, well, if Kyle did it, I can do it too. Or maybe you're right, David. Maybe it'll be the complete opposite. Maybe everyone goes, hey, everything's coming up roses. Jesus loves you, and so do I. And none of this is going to be, nothing's going to happen. But I really do think that this is a heap load of crap that he has thrust into the zeitgeist and I think that if they do not charge him properly, I think it's going to give out the wrong message, and there's going to be a lot of protesters, whatever they might be, right? People who are representing BLM, people who are Antifa, people who are not representing them at all, but still still want to fight the power and all that. It's going to say something to them too. They're going to say, hey, well then if he can do that, I can protect myself too and bring out these guns. Now, here's the thing. If you don't remember, the Kyle Rittenhouse situation happened. There were other shootings that were happening up in Oregon as well. This is all during that time. Remember when Oregon turned into just a cluster F of stuff? Portland just was terrible, right? Seattle, if I'm correct. I'm trying to remember all these things. It was like a year ago, right? All the craziness that was going on back at that time. I mean, it's insane how crazy things were, right? Now people are going to sit here and say, hey, okay, well then I can go suited and booted if I want. If Kyle Rittenhouse can do it, I need to do it too. And they're going to start going and doing their thing. And I think it's going to be much more bloodshed than we actually really think. Now, I do have this video. Shout out to Lady Justice. Thank you so much for giving us this video. This is in regards to the jurors being photographed. Apparently, this is a video. I'm going to show it to you right now. This is a video from, I guess the guy's name is Cortez. Okay. It says right here, Cortez Rice talks about people he knows that are photographing jurors in Kyle Rittenhouse trial. So let's take a look at this right quick. Unbelievable.
With the right family, like I said, justice for all stolen lives, reopen all cases, justice for our babies. Listen, we demand transparency, man. Nothing but the best, man. We want transparency in these courtrooms, man. And they did it for the Floyd trial, man. Had Court TV up in there. They got Court TV up in there in the Kenosha. They got, I ain't even gonna name the people that I know that's up in the Kenosha. I mean, in the Kenosha trial. But there's cameras in there. It's definitely cameras up in there, and there's definitely people taking pictures of the juries and everything like that. We know what's going on. So we need the same results, man. We need the same results. Justice for Daunte Wright. Justice for all stolen lives. Peace and love. Love y'all.
So he is saying that that jurors are getting photographed, allegedly. I don't know how much of this is entirely true, but this is a guy saying that some of the jurors have been photographed. That does not help the situation, y'all. I'm just letting y'all know. Period. Doesn't sway the jury any particular way. It does not help. Let the jury do what they need to do. Make the decisions that need to be decided. By threatening these jurors' lives on whatever side of the spectrum these people are that are trying to threaten these jurors, it's not going to help the jury come to a final verdict. It's not going to help. It's not going to go in their favor. Like, that's ridiculous, y'all. You just, no, you don't. It's no. Don't do that, y'all. Don't. I just got another comment I want to pull up. Sorry. Here it is. Boom. By the way, he showed up at the judge presiding over Kim Porter trial and tried to intimidate her to put cameras in the courtroom, in that courtroom. And of course, Kim Porter is the officer that shot Daunte Wright in point blank range, thinking that she had a taser. Remember that video, or remember that incident? And that video, it was a video too. We watched it live when they broke that story. Man, I was just like, bruh, she really thought her revolver was a taser. But see, what I'm saying is going and threatening the jury does not help. Any member of the jury does not help them come to a final situation with a final decision. It doesn't. It makes them go away from it. Or it makes them go and use alternates. It just keeps making the thing worse. Which, by the way, I mean, still, no matter what, I mean, there's only one black juror in the entire 12 in this particular case as well, in this particular trial, which I think is BS as well. But, you know, that's just me. It's not a jury of a multitude of other people. It's only a jury of Kyle Rittenhouse's peers. Real talk. And then of course, you look at the judge, and the judge has been, acting a damn fool and is completely biased as well. Completely. Which, man, I wasn't going to show this, but I'm going to show it. But real quick, Tyler Hackner, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Why are the dead suddenly on trial? Whether it be Rosenbaum or Arbery, Kyle is not the victim here. Facts, he is not the victim here. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Real talk. There is a video that I want to show you guys. I need to find it real quick. Let me pull this up. Oh man. There is this video. I mean, I put it up on my IG, so I'm just gonna pull up my IG real quick, which is this one's bad too, y'all. This one's really, really bad. Hold on. Wow, this thing's tiny as hell. All right. Well, I'm gonna show this. So this is the judge talking about referring to an old case that he had years before, and talking about a black juror as a the only black. This is interesting. This is on my IG, so the video might be fairly small, but you'll be able to hear what's being said.
The clerk, the government official, drew the name out of the tumbler. It was a black, the only black. There was nothing wrong with it. It was all okay. But what do they talk about? Optics nowadays? Is that the word for things? That was a bad optic. When the clerk, the government official, drew the name out of the tumbler, it was a black, the only black. There was nothing wrong with it. It was all okay.
Now, here's the thing. He's referring to a situation where they used the tumbler to pick out the jurors, all right, to pick out the jury. Obviously, people have been feeling some type of way about Kyle Rittenhouse pulling out the numbers out of the tumbler. So he was sitting there going, hey, for optics, right, just to make it fair, we're going to do this, and we're going to let the defendant pull out the numbers, right? So of course, but this time it was something that he did years ago. Same situation. This is something that he does. So he's trying to explain it, but then he says, yeah, he pulled up and there was a black, the only black. This is the person that is that is presiding over this case and over this trial. Like this, like I said, and I said in the thing, like, this man is so biased. I don't even understand why people aren't seeing that. So biased. That's why I'm looking at this whole trial and saying, this man gonna walk. Kyle Rittenhouse is gonna walk. Because everything has been set up for failure. Everything has been going for him rather than against him. You look at the Ahmaud Arbery trial, which we are going to be chopping up about here in a second. But you look at the Ahmaud Arbery trial, and you can see that this is a situation where it is showing as a fair trial. Right now, we're looking at where they get to speak their piece. There's solid arguments. I still, of course, think that Ahmaud Arbery, the murderers, should be found guilty as F. Okay, seriously. At least Mueller, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Optics, he said. Yes, he said optics, right? The optics of this. Clearly, it is one side. It is a one-sided case, one-sided trial. But then you look at the Ahmaud Arbery one, and obviously we already know. I mean, I would hope. I'm praying to the sweet baby Jesus, okay, that those murderers are found guilty. But you don't see there are some things that have happened in that trial that are very interesting as well. But you aren't seeing the judge fully going after the prosecution and saying, shut the hell up, or what are you doing, or you shouldn't have been reacting in a way when you're cross-examining this witness, so on and so forth. Heavily biased judge. You're not seeing that over on the Ahmaud Arbery case trial. This guy is showing his ass. This judge with this Kyle Rittenhouse situation is just showing his support. They're chummy, man. He's chummy with the kid. You could clearly see that this dude feels like this kid did no wrong. I said it. I don't give a damn. But like I said, we are still waiting on the verdict. It's Thursday. We haven't heard anything yet. Maybe we'll hear something today, but I really don't think we're going to hear anything until Monday. I really think that they're going to hold over until next weekend. Let people, have a Coke and a smile, kick up their feet and chill, and put out their verdict on Monday. If they're thinking about the streets. But if they're not thinking about the streets, I don't think they're thinking about the streets, really. I think they're going to be like, yo, can we do this? Can we go home so we can be done with this trial? I think that what's going to happen is they're going to put out their verdict on Friday. And then Friday night and the weekend is going to be a crazy one. And it's going to be a crazy one, I feel like, throughout the country. Because there will be other people out here demonstrating if this man is found guilty or innocent. So we'll see what happens. You'll know from us when the verdict does drop. We will be right here. We will be watching it live, baby. Or at least as live as we can get it to. Because, sometimes they might go, oh, we have the verdict. And I'm like, on the other side of town. And I'm just rushing home so I can see it with you guys. But we will try to do it and watch it live when the verdict does drop. Let's move on to the Ahmaud Arbery case. We don't have a whole lot of time, so let's just hop on into it really, really quick. Obviously, right now, the McMichaels are being cross-examined right now. I don't know if he's still I don't know if Travis McMichael is on the stand right now still, but when they started off this morning, he was sitting there and he was getting cross-examined by the prosecutors. Now, it's very interesting. Like I said, or like they've said before, it's unprecedented to see the defendant take the stands, right? Take the stand. But once again, we're hearing from the horse's mouth, the racist ass horse's mouth, his account on what happened. Now, they have already shown multiple pieces of evidence showing like one big thing, that they were trying to hit him with their car, with their truck. That this man, they were running after this dude. They were driving after this dude. There have been more and more pieces of information that have been revealed in this trial that show without a shadow of a doubt that these men had the intent to hurt, if not kill, this man. But now they're saying that this was self-defense. When you got a truck, you got a bunch of dudes in trucks driving after a young black man who is unarmed, and they're hitting him with their car. You kick on the fight or flight situation. And now these men are saying that was self-defense. Yet you guys were the opposing threat. He is the victim. You guys are the assailant, not the other way around. David's got some stuff on this. What's up, man? Let's go.
All right. So you want me to talk about the jury first?
You know what? Let's do the jury last.
All right. So the Ahmaud Arbery case has been going on for quite a bit. Unfortunately, we haven't covered it as much as we want because, I mean, we have a time limit. There's only so much we can talk about.
Right.
But the case is starting to get more complex as the statements go on. I have watched the key statements. I haven't watched all of the statements. I'll give my own impression after this. But basically, so just for a quick background. So like he was saying, there's these three white men that chased down Arbery, who was 25 years old at the time. Their accusation was that he was stealing stuff from this open house that had no signs about trespassing. So basically, it was a house, a show house of some kind. Either they were going to sell it or it was a demonstration. And people were going there all day. It was partially under construction still. And they saw Ahmaud Arbery go back there several times. Not that he wasn't the only one that went back there several times, mind you. There were at least one white family that went there 3 times as well because they were checking out the house. However, the McMichaels saw Arbery going into this location. They claimed he stole a hammer, which there's never been any evidence of, and obviously doesn't really even make sense to go tour a house just to steal a $2 hammer, nor should you try to shoot somebody over that. But the main issue that has since been dropped is that there was a citizen's arrest clause that allowed him technically to go after Ahmaud Arbery because he thought he was committing a crime and he thought he might be a danger to people. And so he took his guns, they chased Ahmaud Arbery down, and they killed him. He did not have a way to defend himself. He did not, as far as all evidence and statements show, take anything whatsoever from that location. One of the McMichaels claimed that Arbery had stolen something from a boat, or maybe that was the neighbor, or one witness, I don't remember if it was a McMichael, one witness claimed that Arbery might have taken something from the boat, but it came out shortly thereafter that person was not able to confirm that those items were even in their boat, nor where they had last lost them. So, at least to me, it looks like basically Arbery went to this place, checked it out a few times. He came back. Who knows? You might have had, if he's interested in the property, it makes a lot of sense to come back, especially if he's talking with, say, a girlfriend or anything like that might be living with him.
Mm-hmm.
It's not unusual. And like I said, other families were doing this. It's very normal. This is just kind of how house showings go. And like I said, this one was still partially under construction, so it was more of a model. But ultimately, they decided to, after that, follow Arbery because they thought he had done something wrong. They followed him for a long time until they basically surrounded him and killed him. And at that point, they didn't do anything right. They didn't try to work through the police. They weren't even following the law of citizen's arrest correctly, in the sense that it should be like a more severe crime of some kind. Though since then, Georgia has the state has reduced its claim to citizen's arrest. So a case like this would instantly be illegal in the future, according to the currently written laws. However, you can't. It's called like post facto or something, that it can affect the case as it's going, even though they have now made that illegal to kind of act in that way. But ultimately, like I said, they pretty much killed him. He did not have a way to defend himself.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided to hunt him down, and because they thought he committed, I don't even know if they thought he committed a crime, to be honest. Their story's really shaky. But either way, they killed him. He did not have a weapon. He did not have any stolen items. He did not have a way to defend himself. And there is no sign that he actually committed any crime whatsoever. However, However, for some reason, these three individuals thought it was okay, and they still have a decent amount of support, unsurprisingly. People saying that they are justified because they thought there was a danger, but that's not how it works. You don't attack someone because you think they might be dangerous or you think they might have committed a crime. That's assault. And then when you go this far, it's murder. And so I would like to see them be held for the murder charge. I already kind of gave my view on this, that I think he was perfectly. I think Arbery should have. I wish Arbery had a way to defend himself, and I think he would have been in his right if he did so. And I do believe that these three individuals, probably for racial motivations, from what I can tell, but obviously I'm not in their heads. That's what it seems like, though. They decided to attack Arbery, and he had done nothing to justify that whatsoever. And there's issues with the jury, but I'll get into that after Pascal talks.
Yeah, you're good. This is most definitely racially motivated, in my personal opinion. This is racially motivated to a T. They went off, drove down after this guy and all that. If this was a white man going into that building site or that house construction site, they wouldn't have batted an eye. They would have just been like, oh, okay, whatever. He could be a neighbor. And that it would have been a fine deal. This is racially motivated from the very moment that kid stepped into that construction site. And they picked up the phone and they started calling 911. And then they decided, let's take matters into our own hands. And they jumped into a car, into a truck, drove down this dude, chased him down, knocked him with their truck, trying to run him off the road, possibly run him over, because they felt like this man was breaking some sort of law, whatever it was, running while black. This is racially motivated without a shadow of a doubt. It starts and ends with the fact that he had melanin in his skin, period. And if there's any disagreement on that, then I don't know what planet y'all are from. If this man was white, from the Caucasus Mountains and all that ish, blonde hair, blue-eyed, running in bat an eye. I will repeat that again because that's the most important part. They didn't care. They didn't care about anything else. They made something up because they were tired of whatever it was, of maybe seeing him run that same route over and over and over again, or maybe that there were some break-ins before, but they just decided, damn it, we're going to take law into our own hands. Dag nabbit. If the 5-0 ain't going to come over here, they wouldn't even say 5-0, but they would, if the police ain't going to come over here and do their due diligence, we're going to do our job ourselves. Vigilantes. Let's run this jogger down. That's basically what they did. This starts and ends with skin, with race. If this kid was white, he would still be on this planet right now. He may have been approached by one of these guys. He may have been approached by one of these guys and saying, hey, man, what's your name, young man? Oh, my name's Chad. What you doing around here? We ain't seen you before. Nice looking young white boy like you. What you doing in this construction site? Oh, well, damn. I just really like buildings. I just, how things are built. I was just checking it out. This is my regular route where I run. I just stop for a quick, little look around, looky-loo. Oh, all right, man. Come on, have fun. See you later. That would have happened. As that TikToker does. That would have happened that way. Period. Dude would have been gone. Running off. You know what I'm saying? Have a great, fruitful life. But no. Ahmaud Arbery went in there, was looking at some stuff, looking at the structure of a home. I saw somebody say earlier, he probably was, Lynn was saying this earlier, Lynn Dalton, and I agree. He probably was looking at the structure of the home because not only does he like to look at the structure of a home, but he also is probably manifesting the idea of having a home like that, living in a nice neighborhood and being in a home as big and as spacious as that, and going, one day, this is going to be my house. Or one day I'm going to have a house that looks just like this. Dag nabbit. They thought that he stole a hammer. Where is the hammer?
I mean, if you go through the most basic of like logical exercises here, basically Occam's razor, what's the simplest explanation? We saw Arbery go to a place that people were going for a showing multiple times. We saw other people go to that place multiple times. His behavior was no different than other people's.
Yep.
So based on just that principle of the simplest explanation makes the most sense. The simplest explanation is since he appeared to be doing the same thing that other people were doing, he was probably doing the same thing that they were doing, which is viewing the house. There's no real reason to suspect otherwise. That's your imagination at that point.
Yep. And there you go. And there you have it. Now we have a young boy, a young man, aspiring young man who is just looking at a house, looking at a construction site. Maybe he just, I don't know. Anything could have been possible of what he was doing in there. He could have just been in there just trying to catch a breath. And it's his spot where he can catch some shade, right? Could have been that. Could have been anything. Just doing his regular run. And these guys took law into their own hands. Instead of waiting for 5-0, instead of waiting for 5-0 to come and look into the matter themselves. This man ran off with nothing. What he took a couple nails maybe? Like real talk. What could he take in his pockets that was of value that would make him be run down and shot in point blank range in the chest? Broken 12 to 14 ribs, if I'm correct, something of that sort, something ungodly. Shot in point blank range. And he had nothing on his person, nothing. My thing is the one thing that really boils my blood about this situation, with this trial, is that you got Travis McMichael right now taking the stand. I don't know if he's done yet, but he's on the stand. The fact that he is having the audacity to commit perjury right now, I guarantee you he lying like a mother lover right now. I'm sure he's not giving all the truths. How's that? Because he feels like, I got to get up here and I got to say what I got to say so I can save face. No, you should just sit back and shut the hell up. Because you know what you did was racially motivated, and that you committed murder. You and your boys committed murder. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, one thing that turned out to be completely false, but this is at least very early on. I don't know if it's been claimed in the trial. McMichael's claimed that he did lift up his shirt to show a pistol or something like that. But that's even if he didn't have a pistol, for one thing, so he didn't do that. But even if he did, that's actually perfectly legal because if you're being chased by people that are showing you the danger or instigating that they are going to harm you or kill you, displaying your weapon is like the final thing before aiming it at them. It is part of your concealed carry permit display of force to try and keep an attack away. So if someone's going to say somebody's like got a knife and is causing problems, you're allowed to show the gun or whatever.
Right.
And then you can just let it go. And that's just that part is actually legal. So even if he did, which he didn't, but even if he did, he wouldn't have broken a law by having it.
But that's if he had a gun.
Right. And he didn't.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. This was an unarmed black man. The only weapon that he had was his fist and his feet. If he was going to use them. They were running him off the road with their cars. Like, I'm not surprised if they were screaming, wee-hoo, as they were trying to hit this man with their truck. Why would you hit a man with your truck that you don't even know if he stole anything or not? He didn't run around and steal people's homes. He's not running around and committing heinous crimes against your neighbors. This was a man who was just running through the neighborhood. Like, come on, man. Like, this is just, it's inhumane what they did to this young man. And like I said, this case and this trial is completely different than the Kyle Rittenhouse story trial. Real talk. Completely different. The judge is pretty much sitting on the fence. He's doing his job as far as trying to be as unbiased as he can possibly be, and let the court do their job, right? Let the prosecutors and the defense do their damn job. But we've been seeing Kyle Rittenhouse's trial, and that has just been jaw-dropping. Now, we got to talk about this situation over at Ahmaud Arbery's trial right now. There are hundreds of pastors that are supposed to be showing up within the next hour, within 45 minutes. Apparently, a gathering of black pastors are coming to this trial to represent, to show up and show out and support Ahmaud Arbery and Ahmaud Arbery's mother and family. Because why? Well, we already been, if you're not following me on Instagram, you need to be following me on Instagram because I've been posting some things. So follow me on Instagram, the Pascal Show, one word. But we have the defense law, literally lawyers, the defense getting up and saying, we have a problem with all these black lawyers. Verbatim. Go to my Instagram, check it out. It's all there in 4K, baby. Sitting there saying, we got a problem with these black pastors. Now, the funny thing is as soon as that video went viral, hold on one second, David. As soon as that video went viral, Jesse Jackson shows up the very next day to show support. Because the funny thing is that defense lawyer mentioned Jesse Jackson, but the funny thing is Jesse Jackson never was in the courtroom. Not never until his name was mentioned. As soon as his name was mentioned, he goes, man, I'm jumping on my private plane. I'm flying my ass right over here, and I'm going to sit in this trial supporting this woman and this family and this young man that these three nincompoops killed. Right, straight up. Then they had a problem with him being in the room. So guess what? Today, over 100 black pastors are supposed to congregate in front of the steps of this courthouse to show solidarity. Because apparently the defense has a huge problem seeing black faces in the courthouse. By the way, just so you guys know, little side note, there are 12 jurors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 jurors. Okay. Guess how many jurors are black? Guess how many jurors are of melanin? How many people of color, let's just say, are jurors? Just one. Just one, y'all. One. So, of course, you're going to sit here and people are going to come in and show solidarity. Because once again, we have a jury that hopefully, they're going to come in, watch this, be motivated, and moved towards a guilty verdict. But at the same time, though, man, still I'm at the edge of my seat. I'm biting my nails. Seriously, biting them all the way down to my cuticles. Why? Because I'm worried that they are going to sit here and find these men not guilty because of the bias that's going on inside the jury, inside this courthouse. Clearly, that defense lawyer is racist as hell, and that man should have stepped down as soon as he said that stupid ass ish. Real talk. That shows who's defending the defendants. Fully racially motivated. Go ahead, David.
Yeah. So I was going to talk about the jury at this point because it is tied to the racial question in this instance. So basically, there's one white person, I believe, that's on Ahmaud Arbery's jury. Or sorry, one black person, I meant to say. Everyone else is not, obviously. However, if you look at the demographics of the county, The region around there, about 20% of the people are black. And if you look at the very direct community that he lives in, that's about, what was the exact number? More black people than white people. I think it was 40% black people, 30% white people for the very direct area where this is all happening. If you count the county, there's more white people, but there's still a large number of black people. And so this is one of those things that's always been weird with trials in terms of getting a bunch of your peers to be on the jury is defining exactly who are your peers. And that's kind of, I believe, their argument for why the racial makeup of basically the demographics of the jury are not equal to the demographics of the community. However, I kind of disagree with that one, I think, because a community should have a full representation at the jury if he's supposed to be decided by his peers. His peers would be a equally proportioned amount of that population, meaning that the jury should reflect much more what the population lives in, or
Thank you.
the population around there is, because those are his peers, and that is what the law calls for, is for your peers. Like I said, there is an argument for the attorneys to why they do not have this. However, I do not think that is accurate. And of course, one of the ways juries are decided, or the main way the juries are decided, is the prosecutor and the defense goes through them and decides who to keep or who to get rid of. Often, if there's excess at the end, there will be some sort of randomized decision to pick the 12 jurors. But I mean, like I said, the math doesn't add up. Like Pascal says, the math isn't mathing in terms of the representation of the jury. So I think that is one problem, but there's a bigger one. And I sent Pascal a video, if you can see it in private chat. It's only 1 minute and 20 seconds. Basically, a juror is falling asleep during evidence, and they decided to keep her around, just keep an eye on her. But she's allegedly missed key parts of the evidence during the Ahmaud Arbery trial. They did not decide to dismiss her. Both the attorneys and the judge, for some reason, decided it was good enough to keep an eye on her, even though by all indication she may have missed a significant or important part of the trial to begin with. So not only is the jury not necessarily representative of a set of peers, how the jury is not performing their duties of staying awake and paying attention. And so far, well, just watch this video. He says the rest.
She's gone around. That's okay. Usually you go around. Judge, I couldn't help but notice as I'm sitting in this chair, juror number 12, and I've watched her before nodding off during the presentation of evidence, noticed it in my opening statement, noticed it again in Mr. Bryan's opening statement. I don't know if she's got, taking medication or doing, but she's eyes are closed, head is falling forward at times, and then she struggles to lift her eyelids. I would ask the court to keep an eye on her and ask you let the jury stretch or stand up.
What I will do is I hadn't noticed that. I will go ahead and you said 12? 12. And I'll keep an eye on 12. I'm going to ask the courtroom deputies just to keep an eye on her too.
Come on.
And we'll see what's going on. And I will make I'll make a comment not directed at her, but generally to the panel. That they need to make sure that they are paying close attention to the evidence, and if anybody is struggling with that, to help their neighbors and ensure that we can keep their full attention.
Yes,
all right, thank you.
Okay. All right. Hold up. What? WTF? WTF? You kidding me? So
that pisses me off. I got to be honest.
I mean, that pisses me off too. So you're telling me that that's okay? You could be nodding off when they're giving out key evidence. She's done it a couple times before, and he ain't going to be like, "Yo, man, let's bring in an alternate, right? Thank you so much for your time, but chuck up the deuces, you out." Do you realize how crucial that is? That if she's falling asleep, she already has her own decision on if they are guilty or not. Real talk. You gotta be, man, come on, man, bruh. And he just sat there going, okay, I'll keep an eye on that. Number 12. Yeah. Okay, I'll keep an eye on that. Yeah. So maybe, let's continue on. Like what? That should be like One and done. Not, oh, we'll give her another chance. Sweetheart, why don't you run a lap around the building real quick and then, come back. It'll wake you up. No. If you're not listening, you're saying, this is so crucial right now. Every little bit, every little nuance that's happening in that courtroom is crucial so that you can come up with your own decision on these three men's lives, right? Hopefully it's towards the guilty because they should be guilty. They're guilty, guilty, guilty. But moving on. That shows to me that this woman already had her decision, that she doesn't care, and that she's just going to be like, she's going to check a box or whatever, however they do it. It's a huge, huge moment in history right now with this case that they will be studying years to come. And the fate of justice for this young man is at the mercy of this jury. And this girl sleeping. This girl napping. Okay. I've seen everything now.
And I think she should be dismissed immediately because we had something like this in the Rittenhouse case where one guy made a joke about Jacob Blake. And he got removed immediately like he should have been.
Thank you.
This person should be removed immediately too. They're showing, they're not showing a bias in the same ways that other person did, but they're showing through their actions that they are not taking the case seriously, and they're not going to be able to make a logical, concrete decision based on what they're hearing because they're not actually even hearing it. I don't know why she's not dismissed. Like, that's the first thing I thought was going to happen when I heard the story. Yet both the attorney and the judge just want to keep an eye on her. It's already too late for that, I think, anyway. But whatever, I guess it's not. I think it's wrong, but it's, what can I do about it, I guess.
Yeah, this is idiotic, in my personal opinion. This judge right there just showed his own ass. That's bad judgment on his part. He clearly could have just turned around and said, okay, let's take a break. And we are going to switch this woman out. We're going to use our alternate, right? Let her go. Thank you so much for your time, but bye, or whatever. I don't know if they have alternates here as well, but like I said, that's what they should be doing. If the person's sleeping, this is not what you use. This is not what you do. Period. That just pisses me off. That just pisses me off. That is, like I said, that is something that I hate more than anything in the world. Because that is such crucial information that you're getting every single day, right? Drink a Red Bull, do some push-ups, do a couple burpees, wherever you need to do it. You don't fall asleep. Like I said, you have already made your decision. On what the outcome of these three men are. Okay, guys, we do have to wrap up the show. And David, thank you so much for that clip. But I do have one last video that I want to show you guys because I need to lighten this show up. It's been a very heavy day, right? It's been heavy. So we gotta chuckle a little bit. Now, there is a video. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there's a video. Laura Ingraham. Oh, yes, I said Laura Ingraham. Laura Ingraham. Okay. Laura Ingram's, okay, was on her show. She was talking with this other correspondent about some stuff, and this happened. And my question to y'all is this real? I think this is fake. Let's talk about it.
To the politics and all those woke storylines in so many shows today. I was watching an episode of You where measles came up.
Wait. When did I mention measles?
I don't know. It was on You.
Wait, what was on me? What are you talking about? Right? Is Raymond even hearing what I'm saying? I never had the measles.
Was on You.
We never did We never did a measles and vaccine episode. Is this a joke?
I know.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It was on you. It was on you.
I've never had, Raymond, I've never had measles. What are you talking about?
This is Fox News's version of Saturday Night Live.
Stupid.
It was an episode of a show, Laura.
What's it called?
You.
What is he talking about?
It's called You.
I've never done a show on measles. I just completely give up. We got to get
It's
out
a
of
show
it. I give up.
called You on Netflix.
There's a show called Laura Ingraham on Netflix.
Bruh.
What are you
Never
talking
mind.
about?
I'm moving on to Adele. I can't explain
You're
this to
moving
you.
on to
The
Adele.
pop singer had an open.
So, I think this was just them trying to be funny. Literally, I think this was just them capping and trying to be funny. Yeah, Rondell, bruh. Like they took the whole who's on first type of thing. Who's on first? Who's on first? Who's on first? Who's on second? Who's on first? Well, I'll tell you. Well, sir, I'll tell you. Who's on first? What's on second? So,
yeah, spot on.
This is fake. This is fake. Clearly, they were trying to make a joke and throw people off. And of course, Laura Ingraham was just trying to say, hey, guys, I could be funny, too. I got a sense of humor. There it is. They took something very, very old school. I forgot who it is. Who's the guy? What's the group? I think it's like Costello.
Yeah, Abbott and Costello.
Abbott and Costello. Thank you. Where it's an old, very, very old school skit, right? And they just did it their own version of it. And of course, she's just sitting there going, "Oh, come on! I never talked about measles. What are you talking about? Stupid! Stop being so silly." So that's what happened. They're trying to do their own version of SNL. Yeah. So this went around. People were circulating, pushing this stuff around. And honestly, people thought this was real. But here's the thing. She's not a good actress. It's terrible. It's like, I get it that they were trying to be funny, and I'm sure this right before the show started, he's like, I got this great idea. We could do a little who's on first type of thing, you know? Because most of the people that watch this channel, used to watch Abbott and Costello. They're still alive, apparently. The fans of Abbott and Costello. But they try to do a little bit of a throwback kind of joke. Yeah, everybody, this is fake. This is very, very much fake. Because, like I said, it's been circulating around, and everyone's like, "Bruh, is Laura Ingram's that dumb?" Well, yeah, I mean, to each their own. Everyone has their opinion about this woman. I think she's trash, but see, I can't even say it with my chest. She's so terrible; it takes my breath away. But here's the thing: she was trying to be funny and bring some humor into the show. Did it work? We don't know. Some people actually laughed.
I laughed at them. Does that count?
Yeah, I was laughing at them too. I'm like, bro,
it's bad acting.
What are you talking about? Stupid. Never talked about measles. Stop you. Wait, there's a show called Laura Ingram's on Netflix? They would never pick you up. Let me just be real. Netflix would never pick you up, girl. But okay.
It's kind of related. Yesterday, Kimmel called Laura Berbert, saying that she was trying to be on SNL because of her last statements. Basically, she's just going over the top again on everything. But my thought was, no, because I laugh at Lauren Berbert, but I never laugh at SNL. So
yes,
it's not quite the same.
Yes. And there's something else I want to show you guys. I need to pull it up anyway. I should. This sucks because we can't really talk about this man at all, which really bloody sucks. But the shaman, because I can't say his name, I can't say the full name, but this is some good news in my personal opinion. So let me show this to you guys really quick as we wrap up the show. I can't say the name because, you know, the world that we live in, the platform and all that. All right. But I'm not talking about, I never talked about measles. Stop it, silly. So we got to talk about the shaman.
Yeah.
Jacob Chansley has been sentenced to 41 months in prison for his role in the stuff that happened on the 6th. Okay, I can't talk much more about this because of, you know, the world that we live in and the platform and all that. But at the same time, Jacob Chansley, also known as the shaman, that guy, you know what I mean? Sparta, you know what I mean? Like looking like I don't even know what that is. It's a Viking meets patriotic Braveheart. I don't know. Anyway,
You're down the right path at least.
you know what I'm saying? It's very interesting. And, you know, a self-proclaimed shaman, okay, because he shamaned himself. He ordained himself as shaman. And if you haven't seen the 60 Minutes special surrounding him, go check it out. It's amazing. But anyway, he has been sentenced to 41 months in prison for his role in the stuff that happened on the 6th. So the Justice Department had asked for Chansley to receive a harsh sentence as a way to set an example among the other people that were involved on the 6th. And prosecutors have positioned Chansley as emblematic of a barbaric crowd. So he literally, they used him as the icon of what happened on the 6th. Let's keep it real. I mean, look at that. Can you, do you blame media for like using this as the icon for everything that went down? I mean, look at that put-em. Look at that whole fit. I mean, it's perfect, right? So of course they're going to be using him as an example of this crazy ass crowd that was involved with this whole thing. Let's keep it 100. He basically came in and became the brand. Go ahead, David.
Yeah. Despite, I just love the like dichotomy between how he tries to appear and the reality. Like he's trying to look like a barbarian, I guess shaman or whatever, like trying to look all tough and act that way. But you know, the moment he gets to jail, his tummy can't take normal food, so he's got to go through a special procedure to get organic food, which is somehow granted to him. So basically,
let's take our country back.
Yeah, he's the type that's screaming about like bravery and freedom, why he can't do anything about it other than
doors slam in front of him, and he's like, well, I need my organic food, and they need to be blessed before I ingest the food. There's a whole ritual because I'm a shaman. Huh? All right, then. So since then, he's gained fame as the shaman, a figure known in the fringe online movement, and for wildly shared videos photos that captured him wearing face paint and a headdress inside the Senate chamber. So Judge Lamberth has had Chansley held in jail since his arrest, despite his multiple attempts to gain sympathy and his release. So, of course, there's been a lot of other cases, 660 capital people's cases, all right? And right now, he is the one that has, if I'm correct, one of the harshest sentencings. There is another guy that got sentenced as well with a harsh sentence, but guess what? He black. So, of course, he got the worst sentence. But, you know, what else is new? He was there. He was acting weird. He was acting the damn fool. Shaman, as we know it right now, is going to be facing over 3 years in prison for his dumbass ways and going out there thinking that he was untouchable. And the funniest thing is that, yes, he's one of the most photographed and captured people throughout this whole thing because he stuck out like a sore thumb, mother lovers. Look at him. he looked like a fool. Looking like a fool with his pants on the ground. Real talk. And now he's going, well, I need him to, he was trying to get Trump to pardon him. He was trying to do all kinds of crazy stuff. Did it work out for him? No, it did not. So there you have it, y'all. The shaman is facing has been sentenced to 41 months in prison. Period. And I hope he enjoys every single day, every single second while he's in prison. Because, hey, he shouldn't have been there. He should have kept his mouth and his face paint somewhere else. Period. Anyway, guys.
I want to say one thing real quick, actually.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Mostly just the fact that, unfortunately, despite the fact that QAnon has shrunk considerably since his arrest, there are still 20% of people out there, consistently 20%, that do believe in the QAnonymous, I don't know what you're going to call it, like information.
Yeah, we got to be careful with the words here. That's why I've been skipping that word like a mug. But the group, yes.
Yeah, so basically, they've mostly disappeared since this guy got arrested. But unfortunately, like I said, 20% of them are still out there. So they're not gone. They don't look like they're leaving. They're trending steadily to stay at 20%. So we might have more people like this. It's a good thing to keep an eye out for them.
Oh,
because it's not over.
It's definitely not over. I mean, this is, like I said, I mean, here it is. Especially if that man runs again in 2024. If he runs again, they're all coming back. You know what I'm saying? Like a really nasty STD. They coming back. The gift that keeps on giving. I'm just telling you. We think they gone, but they coming back. I guarantee you that. Okay, if he's running. I hope to God he doesn't. But we already know where we're headed. We're already headed down that way. And yes, I don't think Biden should run again. And that's my personal opinion on that. But that's a whole other conversation in itself. Anyway, David, thank you so much for being on. I really do appreciate it, my brother. Thank you.
It was a good show today. A lot of topics to discuss.
Yeah, a whole lot of topics. A whole lot of shaking and nastiness going on. But I appreciate all y'all for being on. Thank you guys so much. Before you guys head off, please hit that like button down below. I'd love to see you go past 300 likes before you head off. That would really mean a lot. And for those of y'all who are new to the show, please go crush that subscribe button. We are less than 1,200 subscribers away from 50,000. 1,200 away. My God, we are going to celebrate so bloody hard when we get to that 50,000 subscribers. Okay, so please share the show. Tell people about this show, all that stuff. Do all that. Do your due diligence. That would mean a lot to me, okay? Hit that subscribe button. Tell your fams about it, fam bams, about this show. Oh, also, please follow me on Instagram and on Twitter, The Pascal Show, one word. And if you feel like contributing, supporting this channel, we do have our Patreon, patreon.com/The Pascal Show. And we also have our membership here on YouTube. You just click on that join button down below and help support this channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. Anyway, we got to get going, y'all. Much love to you guys. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I will see you guys very, very soon. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.
You're going to perform tonight. I can't make this interview boring because this man is too exciting as a host. And I'm truly saying this, and if y'all can't do this, me and this man here is going to leave and go somewhere else so we can get some love. I want everyone in the building to say, I love Pascal on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Homeowners and property managers, if you're looking for effective and humane ways to remove wild animals and deal with the damage that they have caused, we have good news for you. Introducing Wildlife Command Center. We are the only wildlife company that checks 70 different areas on a structure to determine the answers to the following questions. For more information, call us now.
The Fur and Leather Center, providing the highest of fur and leather goods.
Imagination. Image a world. IDEX Media.
Awesome.